Dragon Nest is one of the better free-to-play games out there, and that's a certainty. I'm Scarlet Shore with FreeMMOStation, and today we're going to be reviewing Nexon's action MMORPG, sister title to Vindictus, a game filled with comedy and challenge alike.
FreeMMOStation.com.
Dragon Nest takes place in a really unique setting. It's very cartoon, with a childish twist on everything, except the monsters and the ability animations, which are honestly top-notch. And while the gameplay-wise it is extremely similar to Vindictus, its art style is polar opposite. While this could turn off a few people, along with the gender-locked classes, I want to emphasize that the fact that this game has such prowess when it comes to combat, I would rank it simply as number 1 in terms of pure action. The spells are huge, and so are the monsters. Bosses start out easy, but then halfway through the game you get a huge surge in difficulty. At level 24, you learn that up until then was basically a tutorial for the madness to follow. The different classes all have very different playstyles, and the fact that each character has a branching class tree, i.e. classes transform into other classes depending on talent point allocation, means there is a value of replayability and also role specialization. I for one play Swordsman Warrior, which is a very run and gun kind of playstyle, and his role is stunning while doing DPS, running into battles, getting out, doing lots of damage. It's just a lot of fun, and I also play and enjoy the Tinker Engineer, who I personally specialized for DPS and buffing my allies while mortaring and doing huge AoE spells. To be honest, party play is some of the most fun I've had in a game, period. Though the lower level dungeons do feel like a stomp sometimes, especially if you are playing with a full party. But the game's pacing is unique, in that you don't actually reach the main hub city until halfway through the game, so it does have a slower and a little bit grind-styled approach to leveling, as seen in most popular Asian titles. Similar to Neverwinter or Warframe though, players are tasked with missions or quests to complete by adventuring into numerous instanced dungeons with a party or alone. So no, it's not open world, it's heavily instanced. And these always include at least one boss though, and at least multiple difficulty settings. The starter ones, you can't go on Abyss, but it goes from basically easy, normal, master, and then Abyss. Abyss is the hardest difficulty. It adds extra monsters and bosses. You can also pick up extra quests to fight extra bosses and stuff like that. So there is a lot of difficulty if you want it. What's really awesome about the game and the PvP is actually how it's competitive, and you can earn top points for completing dungeons efficiently, quickly. You know, there's actually a leaderboard for it, so that's very interesting to me. And also, speaking of competition, Dragon Nest has some of the best PvP in any game. In terms of pure brawling spectacle, it's simply the best. It is limited to arena fights, however, so if you're looking for maybe Guild Wars 2 style 1,000-man battles, it's not gonna be here. Still, the combat, being this game's strong point, carries Dragon Nest along many top 10 lists for MMOs, and especially so because it is free to play. But let's talk about that. What is the shop like? What is the cash shop like? There is a complaint about pay to win, and it has to do with the game's crafting system. In the early levels, you don't really feel this, but once you hit level 24 and onward, especially endgame, you're going to start to realize crafting is going to be expensive, not just in-game currency, but when you actually reach the endgame, it will actually probably cost you real-life money. In Dragon Nest, you can enhance items, but after +5 of enhancement, which when you're endgame you're going to need the best gear you can get, you have a chance for your item to break, which will delete it. So, this forces many endgame players to use life cash to purchase an item called Protection Jelly, which prevents this from happening. Also, cosmetic items can give slight buffs. All in all, I'm sure you could beat the game with less than perfect armor, since most of the game is very much skill-based. It is action-based, it is skill-based. You probably don't need the best armor you can, but really for average players, you're gonna need to. There is still a negative light seen in the way Dragon Nest does its free-to-play model, though until endgame, it honestly doesn't matter at all. So you can still have a really good time playing the game, and if you do want to do endgame, there is a possibility of you doing it without paying money. It just makes life so much easier, and I can see where they're coming from. It's very gray area. I can't say it's pay to win, but in a way, it kind of is. It makes your life really easy. The difficulty of Dragon's Nest ranges from pretty much like stupidly easy, sometimes, to very, 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 very hard. Luckily you can choose your difficulty, remember that. And partying up with people is actually really, really easy. You just walk into the sort of hub zone, you walk out into an instance and hit party with people, and there's lots of people playing, so it's pretty easy. I suggest you play this with friends though, and enjoy the experience, like I did. I had a lot of fun. Even if you just play for a little bit, you don't always have to consistently play MMOs. This game is really a worthwhile experience. Dragon's Nest is certainly worth a try, and I give it a thumbs up for anybody. Thanks for hanging out today. Hope you had fun playing, and I'll see you guys later.